Fourth grade, the series of incredible adventures that seemed like the world at the time, that significantly defined your childhood and arguably your life. Days that were usually filled with hours upon hours of fun school activities, friendships, playgrounds, and just all around good vibes. I miss those days. However, as you've probably already guessed by the title of this video, the fourth grade experience would not be complete without its fair share of questionable, embarrassing, and overall unfortunate mishaps that may or may not leave permanent marks, stains, or scars on your precious childhood. For me, this came in the form of a wake up call. A call for me to experience something that I had only experienced mildly and a handful of times before this point. Something I knew full and well was going to happen at some point in my life. This, of course, was racism. It was also extra painful because it happened in my element. It all started with soccer. So, it's the summer of third grade. I was out there doing my thing, scoring goals, making brothers jealous, when unbeknownst to me, I was scouted. And yes, they used to scout younger kids for talented players in the next season, alright? It's not as dumb as you think. Anyways, after the match, a guy comes up to me, all stranger like, and asks me, "Could you be interested in trying out for competitive next year?" On the inside, I was going into crisis mode because as a fourth grader, I didn't know how to talk to strangers and was really starting to wonder where my mother went. But on the other part of my mind, my cells were throwing a fiesta just thinking about the competitions, the medals, the players, the drills, and the fun that I could be having if I just said yes. So I did the sensible thing to do in that exact moment. I looked for my mom. Duh. Just because I would love to do something that some random stranger said that I could do doesn't mean I get to do it. So I found my mom at the car and I told her all about the dude who talked to me and what I could be doing. And she surprisingly seemed pretty down with the idea. And 2 months later, your boy's decked out. I passed tryouts with flying colors, made it to the top tier league, dropped into a chill team, got a trip kit that came with a package and a major confidence boost. Your boy was flying. Even my sisters couldn't bother me when I got home from practice, dude. I just take a shower, ignore the noise, and go on with my day. For a couple weeks, it felt like true paradise, like heaven had been waiting for me, and all I had to do was try out. Notice I said for a couple weeks. Y'all already know some shenanigans are about to go down. So one day, I get to practice with these boys on my team that play well that I don't really know well. But that didn't really bother me at the time, because as long as we were winning, learning, and playing, life was good. But the thing is, I didn't know the history of this team. You see, the goalkeeper on this team, let's call him Brody. He used to be the striker for the team the past 3 seasons and had a pretty decent record. He had had some good chemistry with the guys on the squad, so when I tried out and outperformed him individually, they gave him the position of goalkeeper. Now, being goalie isn't a bad position, alright? To be fair, it's actually pretty fun. But man, in comparison to being a striker, to being known by kids from other teams whose swollen ankles you've notoriously demolished over and over again, to being in the spotlight every time your team scores a goal? Nah, man. To this day, I can't pass that up. So Brody's pretty mad, yeah. He's kind of jelly that he didn't get to play up front, even though he really was a spectacular goalkeeper. That part was okay. But what happened as I began to get to know the players on my team is that I started getting bad vibes from Brody. Like he personally held me responsible for what happened. I asked another one of my teammates what his deal was, and he told me that Brody had been like that ever since I replaced him and filled me in on the details. I finally understood what was going on and tried to handle it properly. So, me being the nice guy that I was, I went over to Brody and told him that I heard about what I did to him and that I was sorry and I hoped that we could be friends and teammates. Well, that didn't work. He made an obscene gesture and roasted me about my shooting skills. After that, I largely left him alone, but sometimes I would still apologize. Say, "You're probably better than me, anyways," to which he would either ignore me, insult me, or literally call me a monkey and insult my mom. But wait, there's more! As I continually belittled myself in the hopes that I could squash whatever beef I had supposedly created between us, he began to feel that he could push me around without any real pushback. So, after months and months of bullying, where he had told me to go back to Africa, told me that I would have been owned by him 100 years ago, which is technically inaccurate considering I'm second generation, and overall making a fool out of me in front of the entire team, and physically pushing me at every turn. Kids on my team will tell me that I should kick his butt for the way he treated me, and I always felt like I was being victimized. I was going through other things off the pitch as well, and I fell into a pretty dark place. It went on like that for 4 months, but then it was the summer of fourth grade, and I was fed up. I remember it distinctly. It was raining. We were doing training under our coach, and everybody felt like they were gonna die. And somehow, through the pain, the rain, and the sweat and the mud, Brody found a way to say something to me that got under my skin. I don't exactly remember what it was, but I was too tired to say anything. Then we got back off the ground to do 20 laps. As we were running, Brody ran up to me and pushed me while no one was looking. I didn't do anything and thought he would stop. A minute later, Brody was beside me again, but this time he stuck out his foot and tripped me. But when he did it again, but the next time speaking about my mom, I punched him in the gut so hard my knuckles hurt. Then, as he was still recoiling, I punched him in the face 3 times, and by the second time, he was on the ground trying to kick me off him. Then I kneed him hard in his ribs, and right before my running coach and astonished teammates could pull me off him, I punched him one last time square across the face, hard enough to make his nose bleed, hard enough to hear his skull shake, and hard enough for me to feel bad about it again. And it was over. I got 2 weeks suspension from the team, which I completely deserved. But at the time, I thought it was a wonder that I didn't get kicked off the team entirely. Brody came back a week after I did. Apparently, the kids on my team finally filled the coach in on what had been happening, and he let me off easy. Brody never bothered me again. In fact, I don't think we spoke to each other the whole rest of the season. There was nothing to be said. Our team won a lot of medals and competitions, but to be completely honest, I think this experience was the most valuable thing that I took away from that soccer season. I learned the importance of self respect. By that, I mean being able to resist respecting others so much that you sacrifice your own respect and sense of honor, worth, or dignity. You shouldn't let people define who you are because of your past or how they see you. I had to learn to stand up for my own identity and take one of my first and most important steps into becoming who I am today. By learning the hard way, I had to change trajectory with my own 2 hands, and it reassured me that even if I wasn't in control of how I was treated, I get to decide how I treat others. I don't owe you anything. Respect people, no matter what. Hold respect for others and respect for yourself, but don't let one compromise the other. Otherwise, you'll never become who you need to be.